Greetings, math fans. All right, so this is our second day of factoring trinomials. Now, it's a little bit different than the first day because the first day, all the problems look like this. They look like x squared plus 9x plus 8, right? Okay, remember we always put a 1 here and then we multiply those two numbers together? Well, now this number is actually not going to be a 1 anymore. It makes it a little more challenging, but if you truly understood the x method, the rest of it is really not that bad. Okay, so let's just start out with a problem, and I'm going to write down the steps on the side here, and you guys are, write down. I would write down the steps, and let's get going here. Okay, so our first problem is going to be 2x squared minus x minus 6. All right, so remember with the x method, you're going to take these two numbers and you're going to multiply them. Now, yesterday or last lesson, it was a 1 there. Well, now you got a 2. So it's going to be 2 times negative 6, which is negative 12. That's at the top of the x. Okay, and then this is a negative 1 here. So you're going to put a negative 1 here. So this is like all we did, last lesson, but now we just have got to multiply those numbers together. Okay, so it's the same thing, guys. You're going to say what two numbers multiply to give you negative 12. And remember I told you, try to think of combinations that give you a negative 1. Now these numbers are one's going to have to be positive, one's going to have to be negative. So you're looking at subtraction. So basically try to be a little smart about what numbers you pick. You could pick 12 and 1 or negative 1, but 12 minus 1 is 11. Okay, it doesn't make sense. So what numbers? Well, 6 and 2, that doesn't do any good either. 6 minus 2 is 4, and then you got 3 and 4. Oh, that's pretty good. 3 minus, or let's say 4 minus 3 is 1. So let's put a 4 and a 3 here. But the 4 is negative because 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Okay? So once you have those numbers, you're going to write down x minus 4 and x plus 3. Now, it's a little bit different. You'd be done if this was yesterday with a coefficient of 1. But what we're going to do, and this is an important step here, and again, I'll kind of write down the steps here in a little bit. But basically what I'm going to do is, see this number right here, this 2? I'm going to divide the number part, and what I mean by the number part are these two numbers. I'm going to divide these, so put a line underneath it, divide it by 2, and divide it by 2. Okay, you got to know that. Got to divide that by that first number, divided by 2. So our next step is I'm going to simplify the 4 over 2 and the 3 over 2 if I can. Okay, so I'm going to write, of course, 4 over 2. You can put that in your calculator, but 4 over 2 is just 2. So it's x minus 2. And this one you can't simplify. It's already reduced. And I'm going to show you how to do that in your calculator in a second here as well. Okay? So now we're up to this point here. So this is a whole number. See that this guy right here, that negative 2, that's a whole number. But this one's a fraction. So the only thing we're going to do with that, see this 2? We call it slide and divide. So we're gonna slide this one over in front of that x. All right. So if I rewrite this, it's going to be x minus 2, and if I move that over, it's going to be 2x plus 3. And guess what? We're done with the problem. So that's actually the answer. Okay? And some of you guys are like, what? What did you just do here? I got a lot more examples to do with you guys. Okay? So don't panic yet, but I want to write down some of the steps to make sure you guys are good to go. So we're going to do another problem together, but I'm going to put the steps on the side, and that's what you guys should write down in your notes. Okay? So if I wanted to check this, I could check it out by foiling it, right? So x times 2x is 2x squared. X times 3 is plus 3x. Negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x. And negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. So you get 2x squared. 3x minus 4x is negative x minus 6. And notice, ta-da, we have the exact same thing here. Okay, if we didn't, then we did something wrong. All right. So again, let's do the next problem here, and I'm going to write down the steps next to it. Okay. So our problem is going to be 3x squared minus 7x minus 6. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply these together, and it gives you negative 18. Okay, it's the top of our x, and you're going to put a minus 7 here. Okay, once again, numbers that multiply to give you 18. And I know a lot of you guys want to say, well, I mean, there's a lot of numbers here. Okay, but you can say 9 and 2. And does that make sense? Because they have to be, one has to be positive, one has to be negative. And think about it, 9 minus 2 is 7. That's perfect. So 9 and 2. And of course, which one's negative? The 9's negative. So 2 minus 9 is negative 7. Okay? So basically what you have is x minus 9 and x plus 2. So if I had to write these are my steps. The first step was x method. Okay, that's what you're going to do to get that x minus 9, x plus 2. Okay, the second step is you're going to divide each number inside the parenthesis. Okay, so you got two parentheses. So each number inside the parentheses by the number in front of, in this case here, well, in front of the x squared. Okay, so that number we're dividing it by, we're dividing everything by 3. So watch this, what I do. Divide it by 3. Okay, the third step is you want to reduce fractions. So reduce both fractions. So you're going to hit that A, B, C button on your calculator. You got to look for that on your TI-30, the ABC button. Okay, so that's the calculator that most of us use. That's one that I let you guys borrow in class. So what you're going to do is you're going to type in, just to help you, use that button. You're going to type in, like for 9 over 3. I mean, you could just do 9 ABC. I'm going to say ABC, just so it's that way. 9 ABC 3 equals, and that will give you a 3. Okay, but you should say 9 over 3 is 3. You should know that, right? So I'm going to simplify that. That's going to be x minus 3. And then the next one is 2/3. So there, you really can't reduce 2/3. But if you wanted to, you would say, again, 2ABC 3. And if you had equals, you would get 2/3. Okay, and I'm going to show you a little bit more challenging problem in a second here. All right, but all right, well, let's keep going here. So you want to reduce both fractions, and then your fourth step. I'm running out of room here, so I'm going to write the fourth step here. The fourth step is you want to move any denominator, which is that bottom part of the fraction, left. So you move it to the left. So move any denominator left in front of the x. All right. So this one's simplified, but see that 3 are here? I'm going to take that 3 and I'm going to move it in front. So you get basically 3x plus 2. And you're done with the problem. So there's really like 4 steps here, guys. The first one you just did automatically. The second step is you divide each of those numbers inside the parenthesis by the number in front of the x squared. The third is you reduce your fraction using your ABC button on your calculator. And then the fourth is move any denominator, which was at 3, move it left in front of the x. Okay, and then you're done. So my answer is x minus 3, 3x plus 2. Once again, I can check it pretty easily. All right, if I multiply it out, I get x times 3x is 3x squared. X times 2 is 2x. Negative 3 times 3x is negative 9x. And negative 3 plus 2 is negative 6. So you get 3x squared minus 7x minus 6, which is exactly what we started with. Okay? All right, so have those steps here as we're doing these next set of problems. Okay? So let's do a couple more problems. And let me just show you really quickly using that ABC button, guys. Okay, if you have your calculators out, if I had, let me just throw a number out here. How about 6 over 4? Now, some of you can reduce that pretty well. You know how to reduce your fractions, and it comes out to be actually 3/2. But if you want to use your calculator, you type in 6 ABC 4 equals. Okay, well, that'll give you is 1.5. This is what it'll look like in your calculator. 1.5. Now, you don't want that way. That's actually really a bad way to have it. You want it as a fraction. So you hit the ABC button again. Or I'm sorry, you hit the second ABC button. So hit second ABC and then equals. And that will change it to an improper, we call that, remember, an improper fraction. Okay, we actually learned how to convert improper to mixed number. I think chapter 1. That was one of the things we learned in like the first couple of weeks of school. Okay, so again, if you want to try it again here, if I do 25 over 10 and I want to reduce that, you type in 25 ABC 10 equals. Okay, and that will give you 2.5. But we don't want that. Okay, again, you hit second ABC and equals. All right, and that will give you 5/2. Okay, so important to know how to do that. That is super, super important for that one step where you have to convert into a fraction. Okay. All right, so let's do a couple more here. 2x squared plus x minus 15. Okay, so we multiply those together, we get negative 30. Draw the x, there's a 1 here. Think of numbers that give you 30. The numbers have to be pretty close to each other in order to add or subtract, in this case subtract, to give you 1. And do you guys agree? 5 and 6, right? Because 6 minus 5, so 5 and 6, and 6 minus 5 is 1. And it's positive, so we have this one, it needs to be negative. Okay, let's do it. X minus 5, x plus 6. All right, what I tell you guys to do, remember, divide by the number in front of the x squared. So divide by 2. Okay, so this one, if you recognize 5/2 cannot be reduced anymore. If you wanted to try it, you can type in 5 ABC 2 equals, and then second ABC to get it actually to get it as an improper fraction, and it would still stay 5/2. So I can't do anything with that. X minus 5/2, and this one 6 over 2 is 3. Okay. Next step. You slide the 2 over. So you get 2x minus 5, x plus 3. And you're done with the problem. That's not bad. Okay, let's do a couple more examples. So 2x squared plus 3x minus 14. Okay, so you get negative 28. So that's the top of the x, and then a 3 here. So again, think of numbers that give you 28. Well, I pretty much know it's 7 and 4, right? 7 minus 4. So 7 and negative 4. That's beautiful. Okay, so we have x plus 7, x minus 4. We divide each of those by the 2. And if you want to kind of do it in one step, that 2 goes in front. So it's 2x plus 7. And this one actually divides nicely, so you don't have to do anything with that, and it's x minus 2. And that's your answer to that problem. Okay? Not bad. Let's keep going here. 6x squared plus 11x plus 3. Okay, that gives you 18. 11 here. Two numbers give you 18. Now they both have to be positive, so think like 6 and 3. 6 times 3 is 18, but 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 and 2. Perfect. 9 plus 2 is 11. So we have x plus 9, x plus 2. And then we divide by 6. Now this is where your calculator is going to come in handy, because 9 over 6 and 2 over 6 actually reduce. Okay, so again you're going to type in 9 ABC 6 equals. It will give you 1.5, but we don't want that, so you're going to do second ABC and then equals. And that turns it, second ABC turns it into an improper fraction. So if you do that, you get x plus 3/2. Okay, and then 2 over 6, same thing. If you do that in your calculator, you get plus 1/3. Okay, and then we're almost done. We can't do anything. They're both fractions. If they're whole numbers, you're done, but these are both fractions. So you put the 2 in front, and you put the 3 in the front. So you get 2x plus 3 and 3x plus 1. And there's your answer. Okay? All right, cool. I'm going to do just a couple more with you guys because I think it's important. And again, you can stop anytime you want, but, you know, let's just kind of keep going here a little bit, okay? Let's do 4x squared plus 13x plus 3. Again, really fast now. That's 12. And that's 13. So now interesting, number that multiplies to give you 12. Yeah, you can say 6 and 2, and you can say 3 and 4, but guys, you got to get up to 13. So 12 and 1 is your answer, right? 12 and 1. 12 times 1 is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13. Okay, so here we go. So it's x plus 12 and x plus 1. We divide both those by 4, which is this number right here. So 12 over 4 is 3, so it's x plus 3. And I can't reduce 1/4, so that 4 goes in front. So 4x plus 1, and we're done with the problem. Okay, it's not bad. Let's get to a couple problems that are a little bit crazier. Let's do 8x squared plus 18x plus 9. So these numbers get a little bit bigger. 72. Top of the x, and this is 18. Okay, a little bigger, but come on. Well, give me two numbers that multiply to give you 72. Now, let me show you a little trick to get to 72. Okay, because you might think 8 times 9, but 8 plus 9 is 17. So that's actually not going to work. Okay, so if I want to go do 72, I can say 72 and 1. So actually, you know what? I want to write it as 1 and 72, because I want to show you it's 1 and 72, and then work your way up. Do 2 and take your calculator. Say 72 divided by 2 to see if it works, and it does. It gives you 36. So 2 and 36, and then do 72. But I'm going to go get my calculator here. Just so I can get all, while you guys are doing it, get all the possibilities. Okay, so 72 divided by 3. So 72 divided by 3. Hey, that works too. So it's 24. So this is 3 and 24. And then you can do 72 divided by 4. Oh, look at that. 4 and 18. And I know 72 and 5 don't work. So let's try 72 and 6. 72 divided by 6. Oh, that's good too. So 6 and 12. And then 7 doesn't work. And 8, so 72, we know that. 72 divided by 8 is 9. So 8 and 9. Now I want you to understand I don't have any more, because if I go higher, I'll get to a 9, and I already did the bigger numbers over here on this side. Okay? So those are I have 6 possibilities for this answer. So which one adds to give you 18? Well, you guys should recognize the 6 and the 12 give you 18. So in this case here, it's x plus 6 and x plus 12. And you're going to divide each of those by 8. Okay? Now you got to reduce it. You can't just slide that 8 over. You have to reduce all your fractions. I cannot stress that enough. It has to be reduced. So you're going to use your little ABC button here. And if you reduce it, you're going to get x plus 3/4. Okay? And if I reduce this one, I'm going to get x plus 3/2. Okay, it's as far as it can be reduced. So that means I need to slide the 4 over and the 2 over. So you get 4x plus 3 and 2x plus 3. That was kind of a little nasty one, but as long as you know the x method, you're good to go. I could check it by foiling it out. So look at it. You get 4x times 2x is 8x squared. 4x times 3 is 12x. 3 times 2x is 6x. And 3 times 3 is 9. So these combine, so 8x squared plus 18x plus 9. Hey, how you doing? Same thing. Okay? All right, that's cool. I have one thing more I want to show you guys. And actually, I'm going to leave this problem up here. And what I want to show you is sometimes you'll see a problem like this. And see how you have an x here, just the x. But sometimes you'll see 18xy plus 9y squared. So pay attention to that, right? You have 2 variables in here. Guys, this is not difficult at all. Basically, you're going to do the problem exactly the same as I did here, except your final answer has got a y in it for the second term. Okay, so it's going to be 4x plus 3y times 2x plus 3y. That's all it is. It's just literally adding a y at the end. Okay? So it's not difficult at all. So let's do one problem where you actually have the y there just to show you how easy it is. Okay, so let's do 6x squared minus 11xy plus 3y squared. All right, so again, don't panic at this and go, oh no, I got 2 sets of variables. Just, it's no big deal. Let's ignore the x for now, or let's ignore the y, I should say. Okay, so I'm going to multiply these together, and I'm going to get 18. And then I draw my x, negative 11, and then 2 numbers that give you 18. Well, they have to both be negative or both positive in this case because this is negative here. They're both negative. So it's, think of it, it's 2 and 9, right? Negative 2 minus 9 is negative 11. So we have x minus 2 and x minus 9. Cool. Then I'm going to divide by the 6. Don't forget that. So if I simplify it using my ABC button, it's x minus 1/3 and x minus 3/2. All right, this is as far as I can simplify it. So I take 3 and move in front, take the 2, move in front. So I get 3x minus 1 times 2x minus 3. All right, but remember, you have the y there. So what do? Just add the y here and add the y here. So this is your answer. 3x minus y and 2x minus 3y. Okay? So that's the scoop, math fans. It's a little bit longer of a lesson, but I wanted to cover a bunch of different problems. But that is the x method, and we call that slide and divide. So basically what you're doing, you're really dividing. This is kind of your dividing here, and then you're sliding it over. It's really called slide or divide and slide. Okay, but slide and divide sounds cooler. Okay, that's it. But you got to practice on your homework, guys, and you got to be good with this stuff. So now you know how to factor all your trinomials. All right, that's it, math fans. Have an outstanding day. Adios. Goodbye.